Okay, welcome to Nitya Satsang. Today is the 13th of February 2025. This is Sachin here. Om Shri Ganeshaya Namaha, Om Namo Narayanaya Namaha. The first fact to understand and recognize is that we as human beings, we as living beings, are constantly searching for for an unending state of joy, of Aananda, of eternal existence. We're looking for that. But it's not available. That is not the experience of life. The experience of life is constantly changing. Now, this changing that is happening in the three avasthas, the Jagrat avastha, Swapna, and the Shushupti avastha. Avastha Traya. So the Mandukya Upanishad concisely yet profoundly illuminates the fact that consciousness and reality exist, and that we are moving through. This is our life experience. We are moving through the waking state. Right now, we are all awake together. This is called waking state. It is called Jagrat Avastha. Now, in the Jagrat Avastha, an individual engages with the external world through the five senses and cognitive faculties. This is characterized by what is called Bahir Mukhatva. In Sanskrit, Bahir Mukhatva means external orientation, where the mind is actively directed towards outward. It's directed outward towards sense objects, interpersonal interactions, and intellectual processing. This is called Bahir Mukhatva. In this state, the self, meaning the Atma Tattva, identifies with the body and the mind, perceiving itself as an autonomous entity distinct from the world around it. We feel we are autonomous, we're different from the world around us, different from each other, things like that. This is called Bahir Mukhatva. It's very interesting. Sanskrit is so precise. There is so much depth within the terminology. There's Bahir Mukhatva and Antar Mukhatva. In Gujarati, I've heard this in the satsang also many times, Antarmukhi. This is one of these words that is used. Now, it raises some basic questions. A common question will be, if there is only one Advait, there is only consciousness or Satchidananda, Brahman hi hai, why is it that we are all experiencing duality? Why do we experience this Jagrat Avastha? And on top of that, why is it that we are all apparently all awake at the same time in that same avastha, even though it seems like that the world is real. It's an avastha, it's a state of being, state of experience, but it seems to be somehow different from the Sapna avastha. Sapna avastha is my own internal stuff that is going on, right? Sapna avastha is what? You can think of it this way. It is antarmukhi, internal orientation, wherein the self is no longer bound by rigid constructs of the waking reality, but instead moves freely through the fluid, imaginative landscapes of the dream world. The waking reality is also a reality. But the Swapna Avastha is not bound by rigid constructs that are present in the waking reality. Well, why is that? Why are there even rigid constructs in the waking reality? Why isn't the waking reality just like a Swapna Avastha? That we are just in another dream and we are coming out of that, and then we're waking up in another dream, from one dream to another. And how do you know that the Jagrat Avastha is not just another dream? See, this question was asked by Raja Janak to his guru Ashtavakra. There's what is called Ashtavakra Gita. Someday, if it is the will of God, maybe we'll get to some of those things. But the concepts are the same. These are all Advaitic texts. Beautiful. So one time, the story goes like this. Janak Raja is lying down as a king. He's a great king. He goes to sleep, and then in the dream, he has the dream that he has turned into a beggar. Everything is gone. He is just begging in the world. A very real, realistic dream, as if it is actually the case. We may have had these kinds of things also. We don't know. We cannot tell. The dreams are so vivid sometimes. So he had this very long dream. Then he woke up and he said, my God, I'm the king actually. Then he goes to his guru and he bows down, Ashtavakra Rishi. He says, Maharaj, what is the reality here? Which one is real? That what I experienced at nighttime, or this one? While I'm talking to you and this Jagrata Avastha. Which one is real? So the Rishi is an awakened Rishi. Rishi is Ashtavakra Rishi is an enlightened being. And Ashtavakra says to him that both are unreal. They are only relatively true. You had that dream for a few hours at night time. This is just a longer dream. This Jagrata Avastha. Bada sapna hai. Sapna. Now, obviously, you can raise questions about this. Why is there this consistency in the Jagrata Avastha? In the Jagrata Avastha, there is, there's the same world that we wake up in. When I wake up from nighttime, I wake up in my room. I wake up in my bedroom. I wake up with the same pillows and same clothing and this and that. That's not the case in Swapna Avastha. In Swapna Avastha mein hum jate hain, something new shows up every day. Something twist, all kinds of mixtures are there. So one point someone could make that the Jagrata Avastha is not a dream, it is real. You could say that. It is Vedanta says that, it is real in terms of Vyavarika Satyam, empirical reality. But why is that empirical reality there? Even though Vedanta says that it is there, Jagrata Avastha is the domain of Vyavarika Satya, the conventional world in which we function, communicate, and navigate our daily existence. Why is that existence even there? See this question? If there's only one, then why is the one dreaming itself as the many and causing itself so much pain, suffering, damage, problems, wars, hatred, negativity? This is one of the big problems in Advaita Vedanta. There's no answer to this question. As I mentioned before, this question is considered to be a wrong question. He says you cannot analyze why that is there. You have to wake up from that and you will realize it was never there. It's like saying, why the dream is there. Whatever the reasons may be. But when you wake up from that, it's not there anymore. So similarly, all Vedantic masters, even in the Vedas, Bhagavan Swaminarayan has mentioned this point very often, and many other gurus have also taught the same thing actually, that to be awake, to be awakened out of the waking state. That is, it's a beautiful expression in Vedas. Maharaj isme kehte hai, in Gujarati he says, Jagratma Shushuptini Pethe Varte. Meaning, as if you are in Shushupti, but Jagrata Avastha is there. Because a Shushupti is no experience of any kind. But Jagrata Avastha is Anubhav. The difference is non-entangled, non-reactive, beyond Raga and Dvesha, interaction with the world, with everything in the world. That is an extremely stable and enlightened interaction with the world outside, with the realization that this is Vyavarika Satyam, but it is not, but the Paramarthika Satyam is the actual reality. This is only ek abhas hai. Adhyas. Adhyas is the word in Vedanta. Shankaracharya ji has written the Adhyasa Bhasyam. Amazing. So, the philosophical question as to, why Jagrata Avastha exists, it's interesting. I mean, in my humble analysis of this, with all respects to Advaitic masters, the Vishishta Advaita answer is more palatable rather than the Advaita answer on this question. The Vishishta Advaita says that there are infinite number of Jivatma. The Advaita doesn't say that. Advaita says there's only one Atma, or one Atma is the Paramatma. There's no difference. You cannot, Advait Vedanta doesn't say there are infinite number of Jivatma. For example, Sachin will say that, okay, this is my Jivatma, this is Jivatma, somebody else, and dog, the 7.8, 8.4 billion people, each one has different Jivatma. That's what Vishishta Advait will say. But in Advait Vedanta, it doesn't say that there are infinite number of Jiva. Now, is there one is right, one is wrong? No, it's not one is right, one is wrong. Advaita is spoken from that Paramarthika level only. That's why the masters have said there is only the Brahman. That doesn't mean there are not infinite number of Jivatma, which is exactly what Vishishta Advaita says. Now, there's no point in, people have been discussing and debating this for the last, many thousands of years. There's still all kinds of debates in our academic articles, and so many things are debated on this. Who is right? It's not a question of debate. Yeah, even though Ramanujacharya wrote a very, he's the Acharya of Vishishtadvaita. So he disagreed with Shankaracharya's interpretation on these points. So his interpretation is not like Advaitic interpretation. It's not exactly like Shankaracharya's. It's quite different. And then even different from that, to some extent, are the more dualistic, like Madhvacharya. It's purely dualistic, right? So the same Prastantrayi is interpreted by these three major acharyas in three different ways: Advait, Vishishtadvait, and Dvait. And then you have other formulations from there. Achinta Bheda Bhed. These are all Vedantic darshan. Isko Vedant ke sab darshan kehte hain. Nobody's wrong. Sachin is just an ordinary, sadhak here. Humble opinion, humble perspective that nobody is wrong. Nobody is wrong. It's a matter of realization. Nobody's wrong. In Sachin's, again, humble opinion or analysis or study, Bhagwan Swaminarayan, उन्होंने बहुत एक अद्भुत बात की. He pulled all this thing together, all of it. Again, this is very extensive discussion. I'll try to cover it in the Swaminarayan Spirituality recordings. Sab Tattva Gyan ka discussion hai wo. In Garada Pratham 7 and many other Vachanamrutis, is totally, thoroughly explained. There's no controversy left if there's a proper study of the teachings of Shriji Maharaj. There's absolutely no controversy of any kind. He's resolved it all. All of it is resolved. But it requires time. It is written in original Gujarati. It's written in brief paragraphs. It's difficult to understand also, and there's a lot of confusion about it, even in the Swaminarayan Sampradaya, which has almost 82 different organizations right now, as of today. So there's a lot of confusion out there. बहुत difficult सब बात है ये. And ये सब ऊपर की level की बात है. ऊपर की level meaning it requires, like literally extensive amount of study and careful probing to come to what each acharya is saying, why they're saying that, what is their perspective, what is the transcendental reality. It's a lot. But in simple, the attempt here, Sachin's attempt is to pull off a magic act somehow. To try to find a way to pull this together, to present it to the world in a straightforward manner. Because part of the difficulty we have in Sanatan Dharma is that, people go to temples and maybe they read the Gita or listen to some pravachans or something or whatever, But most people don't know what is the extraordinary depth of Sanatan Dharma. And these kinds of probings in terms of sadhana, like about Jagrata Avastha, Swapna Avastha, Shushupti Avastha, the different mantras that are present, the different scriptures that are present, the life that we have, it is so highly developed. It is extraordinarily developed. Just the Mandukya Upanishad, isme itna power. It's only, how many verses? 12 verses. 12 verses. We're only covering verse 1. You can see how much we could spend our whole life covering verse number 1. We can spend our whole life talking about these three avasthas only. And even the field of psychology and the thousands of theories in psychology still are only scratching the surface of these avasthas. They still don't know what they are exactly, where they came from, what it is exactly. But the rishis discovered the chakra system, they discovered the nadi system, they discovered the atma tattva, they discovered the causal body. So many things are discovered that the psychology and neurology has no clue about that. They cannot know also, because you can only know that through meditation. You can only be aware of that through the depth of dhyan, and in that, those higher tattvas begin to open. It's very advanced. Even these university fields of neurology and neuroscience and psychology and everything else that is there today, as of today, those are the kindergarten level compared to even this Mandukya Upanishad. And I'm not just saying that to exaggerate, it's a fact. Iska koi comparison hi nahi hai. And they are so advanced. Even those, there are, millions of articles in psychology on every single theory. And they are not even at 1% of this Mandukya Upanishad. If somebody wants the proof, come and spend a week with me over here. I'll prove it to you. हमारे घर में यहाँ 10,000 पुस्तक है, 10,000 books are here, at least. And that's just physical books, not to mention all the, God knows how much online material has been downloaded into OneDrives. We can prove all this thing. Every statement made here, हमारे पास भगवान की दया से proof है इस बात का. And this is it's not that we have 100 years to spend behind these things, but within a couple of hours you can show how it links. Where is the level and status of neurology, psychology, and behavioral neuroscience? Amazing areas are there. They do not even hold. They are just a fragment, literally, not even 1% of what is in these Upanishads. Why? Because the Upanishads are speaking from that dimension beyond the entanglements of the three avasthas. You will never even hear this expression in any psychology book. Entanglement of the three avastha. Guarantee it's not there. I've been studying it the last 30 years. एक भी पुस्तक में ऐसा कोई वाक्य ही नहीं है. There's no statement like that. Nobody has even thought about that. Nobody has even Freudian theory and Jungian theories, and they talk about the conscious and unconscious, and they are stuck within the layer of the Sukshma Sharir. They cannot even find out what is the Sukshma Sharir. Forget about causal body ka to koi description. And Atma Tattva ki to bahut aage ki baat hai. Ye hai Sanatan Sanskriti. The Hindu community, so-called Hindu community, has no clue about any of this thing. We are stuck in foolish things, and causing problems for ourselves and divisiveness and all those things. But look at these fantastic, kitna amazing level. And I think in the modern world now, really lots of respects to the Ramakrishna mission. You have their saints and sages, they really have latched onto these things, have gone deep, like a great saint, Swami Sarvapani Aananda Ji, and all of the people that are in that group, they are trying to pull all this together, which is excellent, extraordinary. Of course, it is through Ramakrishna mission, but it's very universal. Others need to do the same thing. It's very advanced, and nobody is wrong. It's not a question of one group, but the Sanatan Dharma is extraordinarily advanced. No doubt, Judeo-Christian traditions, we are covering them in our other programs. They're also fantastic, but they have their own perspective on life, and they have their own way that they have developed, and that has to be respected also. This is one of the beautiful teachings of Ramakrishna Paramahansa. I'll just take another minute here, then we'll stop. That you'll notice there's no criticism or knocking anybody else down. That is just being a good human being. Forget about a high levels adhyatmik sab baat wo chodna, but that is a different level altogether. Just being a human level. Why knock somebody else down? Why hurt somebody else? Why damage somebody else's tradition? Can we not find harmony to live together, to work together, to think together, even though differences are always there? Look at these acharyas in the Sanatan Dharma. You think that they agree with each other? They don't agree with each other, but it's not about agreement and disagreement. They are having darshan. Unka darshan kya hai? See, we look at this language we use, agreement versus disagreement versus, those things are there, but in reality, the acharyas, they are speaking out of अनुभव, उनका अनुभव में से वो बोलते हैं. Like Ramanujacharya, he's not simply just writing a bhashyam saying, well, I'm going to sit here and criticize Shankaracharya ji. ऐसा नहीं है. He's not criticizing Shankaracharya ji. He's saying that, yes, Shankara has spoken this way. Now, the same Brahma Sutra, based on his realization of Narayana, etc., he's given Vishishtadvaita. That is not a dislike or anything like that towards anybody. It is a vision. Darshan means to see the tattva. That is what the word darshan means. So we have 6 major darshanas in the Sanatana Dharma. Shat darshan, they're called. 6 darshanas are there. And the other 3 are heterodox. So Buddhism, Jainism, and Charvak. They do not accept the Vedas. The 6 accept the Vedas. So there's a whole classification system and all that thing. It's quite extensive, Indian philosophy, right? But this is called darshan. So the word darshan means to see. And this is what we are aiming towards. We are aiming towards our own first-person realization. Simply repeating what others have said is okay. I mean, we can repeat the Gita, study the Bhagavatam, whatever, Upanishads, study scriptures. Why do we do that? Because that is secondary knowledge. We want to go from secondary to primary, first-person realization. That is aparoksha anubhuti. That's what Shankaracharya ji, that's the beauty of Advaita Vedanta. Advaita Vedanta, in all the Vedanta systems, they are wanting all of us to go from the secondary to the primary, to the first person realization. And that realization is everything. Then one still continues to live inside this world, but one is living as a completely liberated being. And that is not something that, somebody's going to put a stamp on Sachin's forehead saying, now you're a liberated being. Some certificate is going to be given. It's not like that. Ye ek pura nij anubhav hai, isko kehte hai. And there's a total freedom in the 3 avasthas. 3 avasthas continue. The body moves. The bodily functions continue. But those who are yogis, those who are bhaktas, those who are evolved from inside, they are not stuck inside the limitations that are psychological, that erupt from within in the avasthas. Avasthas exist, but they are free to come out of them. That is nirvikalpa samadhi. The free to go back inside of them without entanglement. That is jnana samadhi. The freedom to worship Bhagavan with extreme love. That is prem samadhi. The freedom to interact without any egotistical interaction. That is called sannyas in Bhagavad Gita. How amazing. Chalo, let's stop here for now. Om Dhyanamulam Gurur Murti Mantramulam Gurur Vakyam Pujamulam Gurur Padam Mokshamulam Gurur Kripa Om Divilingaya Nama Urdhvalingaya Nama Anandalingaya Nama Dvatash Jyotirlingaya Namo Nama Om Trambakam Yajamahe Sugandhim Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanan Mrityor Mukshyamamritat Om Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Namah Shivaya Om Aim Rim Klim Chamundaye Viche Svaha Om Durga Durga Rakshini Tata Svaha Om Shri Durga Arpanamastu. Om Shri Radha Krishna Arpanamastu.